The lost civilization of Atlantis, buried beneath the ice of Antarctica. Using the dating method of Dr. W. D. Urry, from the Carnegie Institution in Washington, D.C., scientists discovered that Antarctica's rivers, sources of fine-dispersed deposits, were flowing as depicted on the Orontius Finaeus map, about 6,000 years ago. About 4,000 years B.C., glacial sediments started to accumulate. In 1949, Admiral Bedd's expedition bored holes into the Ross Sea in 3 spots, where Orontius Finaeus marked riverbeds. In the cuts, fine-grained layers were found, obviously brought to the sea with rivers whose sources were situated in temperate latitudes. Is it possible that the lost civilization of Atlantis is buried beneath the ice of Antarctica? Antarctica and Atlantis are 2 words commonly used in the same phrase. It's not a mystery that many people firmly believe that Atlantis did, in fact, exist on Earth, and Antarctica might just be the right place where we should search for Atlantis. But while Plato was the first to write about the lost city continent of Atlantis, it's noteworthy to mention that many Native American legends are reminiscent of what Plato sustained in the distant past, reinforcing suspicion that Atlantis could have existed. The legends of Native Americans come from different cultures separated by vast distances and isolated from one another. However, all of them tell a similar story of a once-fallen civilization that existed in the distant past. In Central America, this ancient culture lived in Aztlan. According to legends, Aztlan was located to the south, on a white island, and perished without warning as a result of natural catastrophic events. Many researchers maintain that Aztlan means place of whiteness. This is why it has commonly been connected to Atlantis and Antarctica, suggesting that Aztlan might have been the mythical Atlantis, the mythical place located to the south. Depiction of the departure from Aztlan in the 16th century Codex Boccherini. It is said that after the catastrophic events, the survivors of Atlantis fled to different continents where their ancient civilization ultimately merged with others and disappeared. Skeptics will rush to discredit any theory linking Atlantis to Antarctica, mostly because Antarctica today is a completely inhospitable and frozen environment where civilizations could not flourish. However, in remote antiquity most of Antarctica was hospitable. Proof of that is a number is enigmatic and ancient maps that depict the continent of Antarctica free of ice. The most famous cartographical chart is without a doubt the famous Urry race map, drawn by an admiral who served in the navy of the ancient Ottoman Empire. Interestingly, the Urry race map was based on a number of even older maps which accurately trace the coastline of Antarctica without the layer of ice that covers it today. This indicates clearly that whoever had the technology and ability to survey the continent of Antarctica must have done so thousands of years ago before the continent was frozen. But how can a continent located to the south be free of ice? Well, it turns out that Antarctica wasn't always located where it is today. In fact, in the distant past, the continent of Antarctica wasn't located at the South Pole, but instead somewhere between it and the equator of our planet. This means that Antarctica was located farther north and experienced a tropical or temperate climate, meaning that it was covered in forests, and inhabited by various ancient life forms. What does this mean? Well, and given the little we know about the life on our planet in the distant past, it is likely that people might have lived on this now icy continent and developed as a society just like people did in Africa, Europe, and Asia. But how was this even possible? Thanks to a scientific theory called crustal displacement. According to mainstream scholars, and the theory of continental drift, the crust of our planet is in fact divided into several tectonic plates that literally float over a molten inner layer. Over the ages, these plates slowly bump against one another. However, the theory of crustal displacement, which expands the theory of continental drift, approximately every 40,000 years, the entire crust of our planet shifts as a single unit. After each shift, all the land masses on our planet, including entire continents, are relocated to a new position on the planet. Many researchers believe that this happened the last time around 10,000 BC and caused the continent of Antarctica to move from its position near the equator to its current position, on top of the South Pole. I still find the idea that Antarctica was once forested absolutely mind-boggling. We take it for granted that Antarctica has always been a frozen wilderness, but the ice caps only appeared relatively recently in geological history, told Jane Francis of the University of Leeds.